Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with All Things Barbecue, and today I want to show you a couple of different techniques for freezing those fresh peaches when you get them in excess. And while we're at it, we're also going to whip up a grilled peach salsa. Now when peach season is in full swing, you want to strike while the iron is hot. You got all of these beautiful peaches around, but what are you going to do with them? You can't eat them all at once. So I want to show you a couple different ways that you can freeze your peaches for later use today. The first technique I want to show you is the simpler of the two, and it simply involves taking the pit out and freezing the halves. So we're going to work the knife all the way around the peach, and of course these are nice and ripe and the pit's going to come right out. And we're just going to freeze these in the halves, either in a zip top bag or ideally in a vacuum sealed bag. And this technique is ideal for when you want to use a more presentable slice of peach in the future, so that you can actually thaw these out and slice them up or cube them up, something where presentation is involved. So the great thing about using a vacuum seal bag is that it takes the oxygen out of there. Now we know that peaches will oxidize when the flesh is exposed to oxygen for too long. It starts to brown, and we've all seen that. But when you take the air out of there, there's no oxygen to brown the surface. You can also counteract this by using a little bit of lemon juice, which is a good idea if you're going to be using a zip top bag. Now for something like this, I would actually cut this bag down because you're probably not going to need more than 3 peaches at a time. So you can actually portion these for whatever size you need. If you want to fill the bag all the way up, for bigger projects you can do that, or you can just do a couple at a time. So although these peaches are ripe, they're not mushy yet, and that means they can hold up to this vacuum seal. I mean, it's really airtight, which is awesome. And since they're individual, they're not touching each other, they're not going to stick to one another and get all mushy when you pull them out of the freezer. The second technique that I want to show you is a little better suited to when you're producing cobblers or pies later on. It actually breaks down the pieces into dices, so you pull them right out of the bag and they're ready to go. But the first thing we need to do is actually boil these to get the skins off of them. I'm going to start by scoring the top. This will give us a place to start peeling the skin. And we'll transfer these peaches to the boiling water with a slotted spoon. And these are only going to need about a minute. We'll actually be able to watch and see when the skin starts peeling away where we made that score. It's been about a minute or two, and you can see the skin's starting to peel off real easy. So what I'm going to do is transfer this to an ice bath to stop any cooking that's going on. We don't actually want to cook these peaches. We just want to be able to get the skins off of them. So only about 1 or 2 minutes in the ice bath as well. And what I'm going to do is, just like I did with the other technique, we're going to cut this in half. We do this with the skin on because it gives us a little something to grip. We can pull that pit out, and then we can take the skin off. You can see it peels away pretty easy now. And the skin peels right off. At this point, you can process these however you want to. If you want to leave them in halves, you can do that. You want to slice them, you can do that. I'm actually going to dice these up so that they're ready to go into a cobbler or a peach pie later on. And this form is also really great if you're going to be doing smoothies or something like that. Just knock out a bag. I mean, this is the perfect size for just like a quart-size Ziploc right here. If you want to fill up a gallon-size zip top bag, that's pretty much perfect for a skillet full of cobbler. If you don't have a vacuum sealer at home, I would definitely recommend you go with this method because it's a lot easier to squeeze the air out once this is all diced up. And at this point, this is ready to just go into the freezer. And you can pull these out, quart-size bag at a time, and let them thaw or use them for whatever you need so that you're not having to thaw out massive amounts of peaches all at once. So now let's get to our grilled peach salsa. The first thing we need to do to get started on this grilled peach salsa is get the pits out of the peaches and get the peaches onto the grill. So I'm just going to run my knife around, and hopefully, yeah, that's going to remove nice and easy. And we're just going to grill these just like this on the halves. I love it when these peaches are so perfectly ripe that that pit just peels right out of there. So to try and prevent sticking, I'm going to put a little bit of oil onto these peaches. You just want to use something without any strong flavor. This is a grapeseed oil, pretty neutral. Canola oil, vegetable oil work just fine. And then we're just going to toss these around to kind of coat them. We want to put a little red onion into this recipe as well, and since we're already going to be grilling stuff, we might as well grill off our red onion while we're at it. We made sure to oil our grill grates as well to make sure that these don't stick as much as possible. I mean, there's going to be some sticking. You can't always prevent all that. We're going to place these directly over the flame so that we can get a nice char on them. We're not going to close the lid. We don't want to cook these peaches so much as we want to get them charred. So we give this about 5 minutes. Let's take a peek and see how it's looking. Oh, nice. Really good char. But when I push on this, still completely firm. In fact, it's even a little bit cold on the top. So that gives us all the structure, but we still get that charred flavor. This is the perfect time to take these off. At this point, I want to stop the cooking process, and they're still pretty warm, so what I'm going to do is spread those peaches out on a sheet pan and throw them in the fridge for about 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure that they stay as firm as possible, and in the meantime, we can prepare the rest of the ingredients for the salsa. But since we're doing salsa, of course, we're going to include some tomatoes. What we have here are some cherry tomatoes that just came fresh out of the garden. Some of these were just picked this morning. So we'll quarter these up. Get them into a bowl. We're also going to add some jalapeno to the salsa. I also want to get some fresh cilantro in this salsa. That's probably about half a cup. Also going to throw just a bit of fresh mint into this salsa to really brighten things up. I think it's going to complement the peaches really well. And we'll do about a tablespoon of that mint. And I'm going to mince 1 clove of garlic. We got this beautiful char on the peach. It's cooled down. It's fairly firm. So this is the perfect time to get these diced up. Now you can go as large or as small as you want to on the dice, but I would recommend that you try and do it all pretty even. That way there's nothing that really stands out in the salsa. So you can see here how a bite like this matches pretty well with a bite like that. And that's exactly what we're going for. Now with items like red onion or jalapeno that pack a lot of punch when you bite into them, it's better, even if it's a different size than what the peaches and the tomatoes are, it's better to go a little bit smaller on those so you get small bites so they don't shock your palate. Rather, they work with everything else going on. We also want to hit our salsa with a little citrus. So we'll start with juice of half of 1 lime. We'll give it a taste and see how it holds up. And I know for sure we're going to need a little bit of salt. And that's probably a ½ teaspoon to get started. Oh man, just beautiful colors. And it smells fantastic. So let's have a taste and see if anything needs adjusted. That's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. Man, the flavors are all over the place. It's so bright, it's fruity, a little bite from the jalapeno, the crunch of the onion. Comes together just perfect. I want to show you guys a couple of ways you can use this now. Obviously, this would be great just for dipping, and you can go even a little smaller on your dices if you want to be able to fit that on a chip, but this is going to work out just fine. I mean, this is a perfect summer barbecue appetizer. But there's a number of other things that you could put this salsa on it would be really delicious with. For example, this pork tenderloin, perfect topping for the pork tenderloin. It would go great with pork chops. This would be fantastic on top of flank steak, with chicken. I mean, pretty much any protein that you're out there grilling this summer, this peach salsa is gonna be great with. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, or there are any tips or techniques that I could help you out with, let me know in the comment section down below. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to thesauce.atbbq.com. All things barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.